Your mind hasn't stopped in years. And that's exactly why you're exhausted. In the ancient world, they understood something we have slowly forgotten. Rest was not the absence of thought. It was not the silencing of the self. The Stoics did not seek emptiness. They sought alignment, a stillness that came not from stopping, but from moving in harmony with what is true. Marcus Aurelius did not rest by escaping his mind. He rested by entering it more honestly. And yet here you are, lying horizontal, eyes open, the room dark, the body still, and somewhere behind the sternum, a low and relentless hum. Something is running. Something is always running. You call it rest. You call it sleep. You schedule it, track it, optimize it. But the machine underneath does not consult your calendars. It simply continues, quiet but awake, present but invisible. So tell me, when was the last time it actually stopped? Epictetus taught from a place of radical constraint, a man born into slavery, who could not choose his body, his master, or his labor. And yet he spoke of freedom with more authority than emperors, because he had located the one room in the human architecture that no external force could enter, the inner citadel, the ruling faculty, the hegemonicon. That room, he said, is always yours, which means it is also always on. So if it's always on, why do you keep pretending you can switch it off? You have confused the stillness of the body with the stillness of the mind. You close your eyes and assume the interior has followed suit. But close your eyes right now. Truly close them. And listen. There is narration happening. There is rehearsal. There is grief being quietly processed. Arguments being silently rehearsed. Futures being assembled and dismantled without your conscious permission. The mind does not clock out. It changes shifts. What if the noise you're avoiding is the one thing asking to be heard? The Stoics had a word for this inner activity, proheresis, the capacity for choice, for moral intention, for the orientation of the soul. And what they understood, which you spend entire lifetimes resisting, is that this faculty never sleeps. It is the one thing about you that is always present, always at work, always shaping how the world lands on you. You cannot rest from being who you are. You can only become more honest about it. So what happens if you stop trying to escape yourself? Modern life has given you an extraordinary number of ways to simulate rest without achieving it. Streaming platforms that give you 30 seconds before the next thing begins. Feeds designed to never end. Notifications that arrive with the quiet insistence of someone tapping your shoulder in a museum. You have built an entire infrastructure of distraction so sophisticated that you mistake it for leisure. But the nervous system is not deceived. It knows the difference between recovery and replacement. And if it knows, why don't you? Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not for publication, not for posterity, not for any audience at all. He wrote them as a daily practice of return, a recurring effort to come back to what he actually believed, as opposed to what the noise of empire had convinced him was urgent. Each entry is a man reminding himself, dragging himself back from distraction, from fear, from the temptation to confuse motion with meaning. He could not rest from being emperor, so he learned to rest inside it. Could you do the same inside your own life? There is something quietly devastating about the realization that you have been awake for years without knowing it. Not literally awake. You have slept, you have dreamed, you have woken. But the deeper vigilance, the commentary, the low chorus of evaluation and anticipation that has never stopped. Not on the beach, not in the bath, not in the brief mercy of a long exhale. The mind is always composing something. The question is whether you are the composer or simply the audience. Which one have you been playing? Zeno of Citium is said to have arrived in Athens as a shipwrecked merchant, stripped of his goods, standing in a city he did not know. He walked into a bookshop. He heard Socrates being read aloud, and in that moment, something reoriented. He did not find rest by recovering what he had lost. He found it by discovering what loss could not touch. That there was something in him that could not be drowned with the cargo. That had survived without trying. That had never needed the ship. So what in you doesn't sink when everything else does? You are part of a culture trying to outrun something that lives inside you. You pack the schedule so the silence doesn't surface. You fill the commute, the dinner table, the space between waking and rising. Because rest, genuine rest, requires a kind of confrontation. A willingness to sit with the self that has been running alongside you all day, unseen and unaddressed. And that self, it turns out, has opinions. It has questions. It is not always comfortable company. So what are you avoiding meeting? The ancient Greeks had no illusion that physical exhaustion meant mental peace. The athlete who collapsed after a race still had to return to his household, his debts, his complicated relationships, his standing in the city. The body could be spent, but the interior continued its negotiations. What the gymnasium offered was not escape. It was discipline, a shaping of the will through the shaping of the body. Not rest, but refinement. Not silence, but a different quality of noise. If you're exhausted, why isn't your mind quiet? This is what the contemplative traditions discovered, and what neuroscience is only now catching up to. That rest is not a passive state. It is a practice. The default mode network, what scientists call the brain's resting activity, is not quiet when you are quiet. It is constructing. It is modeling. It is running simulations of the social world, rehearsing the future, rewriting the past. You are never offline. You are only ever in a different mode of operation. So which mode are you living in right now? Marcus Aurelius returned from campaigns with the weight of decisions that could not be undone. Men sent to die. Cities absorbed into the empire. Compromises made in the name of order. He did not pretend these things did not exist. He did not seek to rinse them away with sleep. He sought instead to metabolize them, to hold them clearly, to name them accurately, and to return each morning to the only question that remained in his control. How do I meet what comes today? What would change if you asked yourself that honestly? There is a peculiar grief in the discovery that you cannot force rest, that the harder you pursue it, the more it retreats, that the desperate need for silence is itself a form of noise. The Stoics did not counsel that you suppress this longing. They counseled that you examine it, that you ask what the exhaustion is actually asking for. Because beneath the need for rest is often a need for honesty, for permission to acknowledge how much has been carried without acknowledgement. So what are you too tired to admit? Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, that the mind, left to its own rehearsals, conjures catastrophes more frequently than they arrive. This is not a character flaw. It is a feature, a survival mechanism that has outlived much of its usefulness. And so what you are really seeking, when you collapse into the longing for rest, is relief from your own anticipation, from the endless pre-living of a future that may never arrive in the form you have built for it. How much of your exhaustion is just imagined futures? The ruins remain. The sky moves over them with indifference. Every civilization that has stood in certainty has eventually become a location for contemplation. And in the gap between what they believed would last and what actually did, there is something useful. Not despair, but proportion. The Stoics were not nihilists. They did not say nothing matters. They said, choose carefully what you allow to consume you, because your attention is the one resource you cannot earn back once it is spent. So where is yours going right now? You will not find rest by stopping. You will find it by arriving, fully, honestly, without performance, in the place where you already are. The mind will continue. The commentary will continue. But there is a quality of presence that does not require silence, that can exist alongside the noise, that has learned to let the river run without being the current. This is not a destination. It is a practice you begin again every time you forget, which is often, which is human, which is, in the end, the whole point.